Hi everyone, GrayPower 60 here. Just wanted to talk to you this week about something a little bit different. And it's basically for ourselves. Um, we talk about elder care, I talk about my life with mom and all of those things. But I thought this week I was I was watching and reading some really interesting things. And the question is, when should we be concerned about our memory? When should we personally be um, concerned? And one of the things that we need to remember is that while we're getting on in our own lives, I mean, some of you are much younger looking after elder parents, but there's some of us who are considered elderly. Uh, After 65, I guess that's considered elderly. I don't feel elderly. I always thought elderly was in their 80s, but definitely now. So I was doing some research, and while I sit down here, everyone sit down. We're going to kind of go over a few little things, and I'll try and link all the references that I have below. So grab your coffee, grab your tea. I've got my tea. I spilled it a little bit. That's why you see a little napkin here. And I was rushing over. So let's get started on ourselves. So when should you be concerned about your memory, your own personal memory? I mean, we're dealing with a lot of things in our life. Um, it's not always easy to enter into our golden age or our last third of our life and not be affected some way or to have fear. Especially if you've had parents, grandparents, relatives suffering from different types of memory loss, dementia, Alzheimer's, etc., etc. Um, we all misplace our keys, our cell phones. We meet somebody and we can't remember their name. My God, I did that when I was in my 30s. So, I mean, that kind of, I always thought of my brain as a computer. I mean, garbage in, garbage out. If it's not of immediate interest to me, I don't retain it. I have enough, especially when I was working, I had enough to retain without having to remember every single face and every single name of every single person that I ever met. How many of you can do that? Some can. I can't do it. So, when should you go and see your doctor about it? Um, Little things like forgetting your keys or trying to remember the name of something as you're doing something and you're going, what's the name of that? I mean, how many of us have done that on YouTube, with our channels? I can't remember it. The moment we want to grasp it, we can't remember that one thing, and it seems as soon as the camera's on, we forget. That is not a cause for worry. Um, you should worry if you're ever somewhere that you always go, and suddenly you're totally disoriented. Nothing looks familiar. You're not sure where you are. And this is not just a one-time thing, because that has also happened to us on occasion, but really feeling disoriented. I mean, really can't get our bearings, and it's for a long period of time. That would be something. If you're repeating the same story over and over and over, and you don't realize it until after you saying to yourself, or family members will tell you, Mom, you've told me that twice already. You know, um, those are, so I'm just kind of trying to read from my notes. If you have problems at home that's interfering with the quality of your life, um, it could be a number of things. Medications that you're on. Some medications can affect your memory. So that would be a reason why you would go to your doctor and have it checked, have it find out if that could be the cause of it. Medications, stress, anxiety. Sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. That can definitely affect our memories. So, while I was going through this and researching it, I was thinking of what my mother must have been feeling, or what my brother, other people, my aunts, my grandmother, how they felt when that must have been frightening and scary for them. And then you would go into denial. We all do that, I think. Um, but there are other conditions. There are physiological conditions that could cause it. Medical conditions, like I said, the medication, stress, anxiety, all of those things. If you are feeling to a point where you are feeling like there's something to fear, if you're at that point, you can go see your doctor, talk to them about it. They will do 3 steps. If you're highly concerned, first of all, they'll do blood work to check that out. They'll do a physical, and they'll also give you a memory test. Those 3 things will help the doctor understand whether or not there is an issue or a concern, and then you can take it from there. Now, there are ways to prevent dementia from coming on. I don't mean Alzheimer's. I'm talking about certain dementias, certain memory losses that can be corrected either through medication, exercise, and so on. So those are the 3 things that I really wanted to bring. It'll help. There are things that the doctor can give you that will help bring your memory back, or at least, if you are suffering from stress or depression or any of these things. And let's face it, when we're dealing with our elderly parents and patients and so on, it is stressful, and we do need to take care of ourselves, and this is all part of the care. So, there was something that I found really interesting, that our memory sort of has these different areas that can be corrected. Like there are factual memories. That's I've forgotten what that is. Procedural would be things like you go to do something and you remember how to do it. Event memories would be certain events that have occurred. You remember those, and your emotional memories, and that's a big one, because even dementia patients have an emotional memory that never leaves them. Well, at least I don't think it does, but it doesn't leave them. Like when you hear an old sound, you have an emotional memory to that sound, to that music. Smells like flowers or something trigger emotional, so you remember how you felt at the time when that particular thing occurred. I found that really interesting. And in elderly people, those emotional memories that stay with us longer is very comforting to elderly people. That's why it's always nice to, when you're dealing with someone, to talk to them about, well, what was it like when you were a kid, or what was it like when you were dating, or what was it like when you first got married, or had your first baby, or when you went on a trip. Anything that will trigger, or do you remember this song, and then play the song and stuff like that. And this is supposed to be absolutely comforting to an elderly person, because it brings the emotion back into their hearts and into their minds, and triggers some pretty wonderful memories. Because as we know, any type of dementia, the long term of when they were children is sharper than the short term memory. So, what do we do to keep our brain healthy? What do we do to keep ourselves smart and healthy? And it was talking about how cholesterol and high blood pressure and so on can affect our memories. So they're talking about exercise. Oh my God, I hate exercising. I really hate exercise. But exercising has been known to help the brain sort of refertilize itself, I guess you could say. Being socially active, having social interaction with other people, social groups, and so on and so forth. Look at me swaying and dancing. Um, Helps to keep the loneliness away. And the loneliness is very bad for your memory. It's bad for your brain. So you need to keep that active. And then there's, if you want to keep your brain healthy, challenge yourself. Do something that you've never done before. Whether it's cooking a new recipe or doing a puzzle or something like that, or going on and doing these brain teasers, all of these things. Challenge your brain to something that you're not used to, or out of your comfort zone a little bit. Kind of do that. Change yourself. Change things that you do normally. Change your hair. Change your clothing. I mean, anything that's a novelty, anything that will be, fun. That is, super, good for your brain to keep you, thinking, keep you happy. Brings back that emotional memory again. That's another thing. The other thing is learning something new, totally new. Like learn a new language. Take a class in something you've never done before. If you've never worked with wood, maybe take, you've never worked with clay, maybe take, a pottery class or painting. Painting is very soothing for your brain, even if you're not good at it. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at painting at all, but every once in a while I like to do something silly. So those are some of the things that will help us keep our brain active. There are so many websites. There are so many challenging places. Luminosity is one that you can go to and do challenges, tests, brain teasers, things like that. The videos that I was watching tonight were from Dr. Sabrina Brennen. Her videos were funny. I mean, she speaks over these animations, but they're very informative, and it's put out by the Alzheimer's Society. So I'll try and link her videos below if you'd like to go and have a look. They're entertaining, they're short, and they're very informative. So that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. I hope everyone had a good week. This is, I think, week 7, if I'm not mistaken. I have to check my little log there. But I just wanted to share this with you tonight. I've had a very busy week, and I have another busy week coming up. So I hope everyone remembers to keep your brain healthy. Think of something that you can do that will help keep your body active. Check your cholesterol, check your blood pressure. Check with a doctor if you have any concerns. A doctor is able to check your blood, give you a physical, and give you a memory test if it comes to that. And don't be afraid to ask, because there are so many ways that they can be corrected, especially if you're stressed, or if you're depressed, or if you're anxious, if you have a lot of anxiety. A doctor will be able to really, really reverse that. Believe me, it's possible. And you don't have to feel like, oh my God, I've forgotten all of this, I'm disoriented, whatever. All of those things are on your list. suddenly you feel like you're going to get Alzheimer's or dementia. You don't know until you get checked. And rather than sit and worry about it, go see your doctor. Thanks for joining me, guys, on another week of my conversation about elder care and about ourselves. I hope this video was informative for you and a little helpful and maybe take a little scare out of the way, talk about it. I really like to share as much information. I mean, I'm just scratching the surface. There's so much help out there, so much support, resources. Check it out. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.